Why are people so mad at this movie? Greetings, y'all, and welcome to Seek Things Above TV. I'm your host, Lou Ciccone. So I just got back from watching Sound of Freedom, and let me tell you, man, this is a very well done movie. It is talking about a very important issue in our day, and watching it, you just wouldn't think somebody would be mad at this movie. But it turns out that people are mad, and there's quite a few people that are mad. And it's no doubt, it's not surprising that we're looking at a lot of leftist media that is super mad at this. So let's start by going to, I'm going to start with this article right here. This is from Blaze, just reporting on the backlash that has been going on. So you see, Sound of Freedom, with a budget of $14.5 million, outperformed Disney's highly promoted Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, with costs of nearly $300 million at the 4th of July box office. Okay, so that was, I think, the beginning of the tension or the issue, right, that people had, certain folks had, is that this movie, which should be some sort of obscure movie, beat Indiana Jones, which had a budget of $300 million, and this movie only had a budget of $14.5 million, which it looks like they pretty much got back in the first day. So despite the stunning success of the underdog movie tackling human trafficking that was written and directed by a Mexican director, liberal outlets trashed Sound of Freedom as simply a QAnon fantasy. Now, this is the thing that I could not get. Is like, how do you get from this movie is, I mean, how about just saying like you just don't like the movie or whatever it is, but to go to the level of calling it a QAnon fantasy. And that's not all. There's been a lot of other things said about it. So Rolling Stone published an article with title, Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. The sub-headline reads, the QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. Wow, 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 just wow. The author accuses the movie of fomenting moral panic for years over this grossly exaggerated epidemic of child sex trafficking, much of it funneling people into conspiracist rabbit holes in QAnon communities. The author slams Sound of Freedom for presenting a hackneyed white savior narrative. My goodness. Listen, man. So I got to tell y'all, listen, I watched this movie. Like I said, I just came back from the theater watching this. I had planned to watch it a few days earlier, but finally got around to doing it and didn't even want to necessarily report on it till I had seen it myself. And let me tell you, when you watch it, there is nothing in there that suggests QAnon fantasy. I've never followed QAnon at all, right? I've never looked at what they're talking about or anything like that. Never. I went to watch it because I was interested in what it was talking about, the theme of the movie. And I felt that it was an important story to be told. And I liked the fact that this was done by a studio that was just wanting to put it in front of people's eyes and put it forward, right? And to actually go out on a limb and spend this $14.5 million and make this movie, right? So I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and support this. And this is by Angel Studios. And so I don't necessarily like everything that comes out of Angel Studios. I'm glad in a lot of ways, being a Christian, that this was not something that was rooted in some sort of theological stuff that we had to, you have to take apart and look at it and say, is this biblical? Is it not? Because I think that's where Angel Studios, in my opinion, gets tripped up or does some stuff that, personally I don't rock with. But this was just a story being done coming out of that studio. Okay, coming out of that studio. And, with the director that was mentioned earlier, Alejandro, I forget his last name. I will look for it and try to pop that in there somewhere. But look, man, Alejandro Monteverde. Okay, Alejandro Monteverde, and look, they did a great job on this movie. They did a great job on this movie. I won't give any spoilers. I will not give any spoilers, but I just want to let y'all know that if you've heard any nonsense telling you that this is some crazy conspiracy stuff, don't believe it. I don't know what the left is so up in arms about on this issue. I do think that Jim Cavaziel is somebody who, for a minute, has been sort of looked at as the people in Hollywood that are like, you don't touch him, you don't really mess with him, you don't really deal with them. He's not one of the popular kids in Hollywood for some of his stances and some of his beliefs. And I'm going to play y'all this clip. Let's go ahead and see. So this is him with the director right here, Alejandro Monteverde. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And this was a clip that was an interview from, I think, Signal Media. I believe it was. I will leave the links in the description below for y'all. But listen to what he had to say when he was asked about the motivation of making the movie.
All right. Let's start with my own children. My wife and I adopted 3 children from China, and became very well aware of the dangers that children go through globally, even through the orphanage program. Next step is this man called me up, said, do you want to do something that really can light things up? Now I'm going to go back to the Passion of the Christ. I saw what that did to this world globally. And it was a very difficult film. And obviously, we took a lot of fluff putting that thing out. But it did a great amount of good. And it went against the media's narrative. This one is also part of that, because it's going against what's going down at the border. I said this over and over again. If you don't have a border, a south border, you don't have a country. By the rules, sovereign country, you have to have borders. We don't have a southern border.
So you can see he's already touching on issues that would trigger people on the left, like, for whatever reason, like, get them super triggered. And he's pointing this out, and I don't think this is in some way that should be offensive or anything to anybody. These are serious issues that are conversations, and I think just people who are concerned about the safety of the U.S. are having these conversations. It shouldn't just be about left or right, and it just kind of be pushed as a fringe issue for crazy conspiracy theorist people. But let's keep going.
It points a big light on grooming. A lot of that going on in the United States right now. Laws that are just abortion, killing a baby 27 days after they're born. All of this is a war on our children. And the public ain't happening. Don't want this happening any longer. And so all of that, when we came to Washington, many of them asked me, well, what can I do for you? Once we were done talking, I said, we want to help you. We want to give you a weapon. And this is what it is. And so now we have guys like Elon Musk that are coming in and helping us out.
So you can see why Jim Cavaziel would not be popular in Hollywood, right? And not popular with the left, because he is talking about stuff that, again, triggers people on the left and makes them exceedingly mad just at the thought of someone bringing this stuff up. And so he is somebody who's just, again, not looked at as one of the popular dudes in Hollywood and not worth following. Now, let's go ahead and just bring up something that CNN had to say, or just a clip of something that was spoken about on CNN in regards to this film as well. So I'm gonna let's pull this up real quick. All right, here we go. Let's check this out.
Familiar with him because he doesn't really hide his association with this real wild plot that involves, drinking the blood of children and things like that.
No, he doesn't hide it at all. And you have a lot of people who are in this world of QAnon who say, oh, they don't know what that is. They've never heard of it. They're just asking questions. With somebody like Jim Cavaziel, he is openly embracing it. He's openly using its catchphrases and its concepts. He's speaking at QAnon conventions. And this film is being marketed to either specific QAnon believers or to people who believe all of the same tenets as QAnon, but claim they don't know what it is.
So that is an accusation right there that this movie is being marketed to QAnon followers. And basically what he's trying to say is just some nut jobs who follow QAnon. That's who we're going to go watch this movie. And it's just like this smear campaign that I do not understand, man. Like, I just can't get why you would go to these lengths, man. Why liberal media is going to these lengths to talk about this movie. I mean, I have some theories about why that is, but we'll talk about those, I think, at a later date. The point I want to bring across is that this film, like, this is a good film. It is definitely worth y'all going to check it out. I would love to hear your thoughts when you do watch it. Definitely hit me up in the comment section below. But don't listen to the nonsense that is being pushed in the media about this movie. It is not for QAnon nut jobs, okay? It is a great movie for anybody who is interested or has a heart for issues that are very important to talk about and that are important for us to be aware about. And this movie is doing a great job of spreading awareness. So I would suggest y'all go out and support it. Don't listen to these. They the real nut jobs. Anybody hating on this movie, those are the real nut jobs. Because, I mean, you could just say you ain't like it, but to go all out and say the stuff that people are saying about it makes no sense. Go check it out. I'll put my stamp of approval on it. And this is just from a dude who likes good movies and likes great messages. So I'm sorry, Indiana Jones. That's just how I be sometimes, all right? Something more important comes up, and that's how you get beat. So Disney took an L. Other folks took an L. Oh, well, it happens sometimes. But with that being said, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. And if then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth, all right? God bless y'all, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.